Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Ishvaro Guratmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Yom Abda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Tava Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Dharmanamandam Satiguru Pranatoshmaham. Oh, okay. So, Namaste. We were looking at Upasana, of course, chapter 6. And then Swami Paramarthananda structured the teachings, dividing it on different aspects of Upasana. Upasana takes us to Nididhyasana, which is the Vedantic meditation. Yeah. So he divided it in 6 topics. I'm trying to find it, but I'm not finding. So the first one is general preparations. It's here. 5 topics: general preparations, specific preparations, the meditation process, the benefit and the obstacles and the remedies. Okay, so we were looking at the general preparations last time. We looked at into the fact, unfortunately, we have only one mind. Yeah? So we may have several programs, but we have one mind. In the future, we may take different programs and say, oh, let me have this one, but we have only one mind. And this mind needs to be taken proper care, because it can swing from opposite states, meaning to say, if you live a non-dharmic, a non-balanced lifestyle, we cannot shift from a disturbed mind into a meditative mind when we sit into our meditation room. Unless something happened to that mind due to self-knowledge, and then things like that, are possible. But otherwise, we need to cultivate a healthy mind in order to be able to move into Upasana. And that brought us into the topic of general preparations for Upasana, which means living a life in observance of Dharma, and with the understanding of this relationship between Jiva, Atma, and Ishvara, and Jagata, and the laws and principles holding the Dharma field. So if we live a life like that, okay, developing the fragrance of every Karma Yogi, which is a devotional, emotional, a devotional emotion, due to the great appreciation we developed for the Creator, because we understood that the Creator has given us everything and is sustaining our life moment to moment, doing our digestion, and take care of all our physiological autonomous systems and so on. And all what seems to be asked to these jivas is just to observe the laws and principles by which the Dharma field is structured and harmonized. And that's what it takes. Understanding of Dharma, understanding of this relationship, which brings about the sentiment of deep reverence and gratitude for the miracle of life and the opportunity that it provides to us. So when we are experiencing difficult days with a lot of challenge, producing several violent emotions or reactions, those reactions, they leave impressions in the mind. Those impressions are going to be obstacles, great obstacles when we sit in meditation, or even when we sit in a Vedantic class, we sit in satsang. It takes time for those impressions to subdue. So we need to be able to avoid that, to develop to what is called samatva, equanimity, balance. I'm not carried away by sorrowful situation, by challenging situations. I don't lose my balance. I don't lose my clarity and my viveka when things get hard, tough, challenging. And I do not respond crazily, madly. So that's what Karma Yoga will do. Will take care of this general qualification for Upasana. Mental mastery, mental balance, as Swamiji puts. This is a precondition for successful meditation. So how could we be successful meditating in the West if we had never heard about Karma Yoga and a spirit of reverence and gratitude towards the Creator? Yeah? So it was difficult, but somehow we were stubborn and we found our ways, and we developed our contemplative, meditative minds. This samatva is one of the preconditions, and not only one, but Krishna is going to elaborate on a few other preconditions. This precondition that Krishna stresses is samatva, in other words, Karma Yoga. He says that to maintain a balanced mind, he will be, if you ask such a question, Lord Krishna will be disappointed. How I'm going to do it? Because Lord Krishna has explained it in the second and third chapters about Karma Yoga. Krishna has presented Karma Yoga way of life. Now, Karma Yoga is a sadhana, yes, but it is a way of life as well. Because it's not a sadhana that needs to be taken out of the context of your day-to-day interaction with life. Karma Yoga is samatva, and Krishna has taught us about that in the first 3 verses. The art of living, so beautiful. Huh? The art of living. Living is so difficult. It requires so much. I mean, it's so difficult to find someone over 50 who is happy, who is joyful, who is peaceful, because it requires a certain art, talent to live and be happy. The mind is, if it does not learn about God, the Creator, it does not understand the Shwara system and the relationship between the creature and the creation and the Creator, it's going to develop a lot of conflicting karma. And then later on, the mind is going to go through great disturbance, let's say, which is going to create a chronic condition of unhappiness, which is so natural and chronic that we go around, look at people, you don't find a smile in the face of anybody, because chronically everybody is already suffering, unhappy. discontentment, sadness, grief. It's very subtle. It's chronic. It's there. It's in the subtle, in the subconscious mind. The art of living is the art of enjoying life, enjoying, keeping a balanced mind, enjoying because you understood. You understood what is your purpose, why you are living here. You discovered God, and you understood your relationship, and you understood the opportunity this life represents to all of us. What is Karma Yoga? Krishna has talked about that before, but still Krishna condensed Karma Yoga again in this first 3 verses of the chapter 6. Karma Yoga is a means for Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga is going to prepare the mind for meditation. Karma Yoga is going to prepare the mind for Shravanam, for Manana, and for Nididhyasana. It is the first and the most important general preparation. And we have to note here one point. I have classified this chapter into 5 topics. Krishna does not make this very clear division in his verse, but Swamiji is a very, very structured and, how you say, didactical. You say didactical?
Didactical.
Huh? Didactical. Teacher. And he gets this verse and then he creates structures, and then he organized it for us. Father organized it, and then it even creates some symbols, with letters and here and there. So Krishna does not make, but I'm organizing it better here. Krishna has not come with preparation meditation, and he never expected Arjuna to ask for this class. So therefore, it might have been given just like that. And therefore, the verse, he's just protecting Krishna. He says, I'm structuring it a little bit better, but it's because Krishna Guru knew that Arjuna did not need this piece of teaching. So I'm giving that to all of us here. But Krishna knows better. I'm just here doing the postman job, yeah, doing some editing to the teachings of Krishna Guru. What is the postman job? He has got a bunch of letters, and now they need to be organized and delivered. So beautiful, the analogy he makes and the analogies. This verse general preparation, this verse specific preparation, this verse, the process of meditation, this is our job, okay? So he's organized the verse and labeling, cataloging them, classifying them, what refers to general, specific preparation, the process of meditation, the the gain, the benefits of meditation, and the obstacles. So he's going to put it by classification. So you will not have much problem to develop the whole picture of the chapter 6 in your mind. So beautiful. With this background, we will enter the text, finally enough. Verse number 1. So the first here there is a lot of Sanskrit. The Lord said, "He who performs action to be done without expecting the result of actions is a real sannyasi and not a renouncer of rituals. Moreover, she is a yogi and not a renouncer of activities." So again, in other parts of the chapter 6, he's going to go and again, he's going to exalt the grihastas, the Karma Yogi. Karma Yogi, a Karma Yogi must be a grihasta, otherwise he would be a sannyasi. Yeah? And we have two options in adulthood. One is sannyasa ashrama or grihasta ashrama. So the grihasta ashrama here is supposed to be a Karma Yogi. And he says this Karma Yogi grihasta is the real deal, is the real sannyasi. Okay? Because sannyasi is what? Renouncing. But it's easy to renounce everything and going to a gurukula or going to an ashram and being there attached to your ego, attached to, whatever the little belongs you may have, So he's saying the Grihastha Karma Yogi here is a real sannyas because it has understood Ishvara and has renounced all expectations in respect to its Prarabdha karma, in respect to the results of this interaction with the field which represents Ishvara. So the one who resolves that kind of expectation and result in respect to the result, he says, is performing action without any expectation. This is really samatvam. This is better than to be a sannyasi. Is renouncing something so big, okay? So big. It's not just about renouncing the rituals, because in India, when you become a sannyasi, you are not supposed to do rituals anymore. You renounce not only mundane lifestyle and actions and interaction, but also sacred actions and rituals. So you renounce anything and everything. You're going to do just study of the scriptures and meditation and contemplation. Moreover, this Karma Yogi is a yogi. This Grihastha, in this case, this Grihastha is a yogi. He's just not a renouncer of worldly activities. Right? Beautiful, powerful pointers. This chapter begins with Lord Krishna voluntarily teaching meditation, and he starts with general preparation. Therefore, this verse comes under Bahiranga or Samanya Sadhanam, which is basically Karma Yoga, the method of keeping the mind equiposed, balanced. Yeah? And what is Karma Yoga? We have seen in the previous chapter 2, 3, and so on. But here Krishna sums up, saying that Karma Yogi is the one who he considers, saying Karma Yogi is one who considers spiritual growth as one's priority in life. He has renounced the material world. He has renounced expectations in respect to the material results of his actions. He has a certain expectation, but his expectation, her expectation is not binding. The expectation is, I do what I do. I don't care for the worldly, material, tangible results, but I'm doing what I do and with with an attitude, understanding of reverence and dedication of my actions, because my goal is spiritual growth, not material gains. Material gains is not my priority in life. Spiritual growth is the priority of my life. Therefore, I don't care for the material results, the tangible, the gross results, because my goal is samatva, is to develop the ability to take whatsoever comes at me as prasad. Material accomplishment he may have a certain value. After all, a grihastha has to feed his family, her family, but the value is subservient to the spiritual value, spiritual growth. If she has to choose between my spiritual growth and the material gains, she will vote for my spiritual growth alone. Let me lose any materialistic gains in the world, but let me grow spiritually, even if it involves material losses. Giving up some material advantage, he will say, I do not mind giving up those benefits. Such a person is called a Karma Yōgi. So it's not much relevant to some of us, but it may be to all of us here, and we are just four. We all have given up somehow certain material advantage because of this spiritual vasana. No? And the more we desire spiritual growth, spiritual elevation, self-knowledge, and moksha, the more space we need to open for this work. Okay? There is no other way, even though the Karma Yogi, the Grihastha who became a Karma Yogi, he does not need to stop doing actions to provide one's family or provide one's very body mind. Okay, still it takes some time and energy to properly assimilate the teachings of Karma, Dharma, Vipassana Yoga. It takes contemplation, it takes reflection, it takes study of the scripture. So one's interest has to be shifted to spiritual growth at the expense of becoming very rich materially. When we have a certain amount of time and energy at our disposal, so we need to make room for this. We cannot just have both worlds, totally, fully. Either I want full spiritual growth and moksha, or I want to have full material growth and become a millionaire, billionaire. But I cannot have both. Those are conflicting goals, conflicting values. So the Karma Yogi does not mind giving up material gains and rich benefits. Therefore, it's called a Karma Yogi. One's priority is what? Not Artha Kama, but Dharma Moksha. Dharma Moksha. I still take care of Artha Kama, but just about for the minimum necessary, because now I want to keep my mind and energy into Dharma Moksha. Yeah. Those are my priorities. He does not criticize people who are totally and fully focused on Artha Kama. He values wealth, he values entertainment, okay? He does not have any bad judgment, but they are just subservience to Karma, Dharma, Moksha. I have given you before an example of curd rice. We know curd rice and pickle. Which one you are using for which purpose? So we know those. I forgot how they call in Tiruvannamalai those rice things like that. It's not curd rice. It has a different name.
Idli.
Idli.
Oh.
Idli. So you have the idli, and then you have all those small little pickles or sauce to go with that. Otherwise, the idli tastes almost like nothing. Yeah. So you just which one you are using and for which purpose. Generally, exceptions there may be. Generally, we want to take the curd rice, and since it tastes almost like tofu, you want to put more pickle. Huh? But if you eat mostly the pickles, using the curd rice as just an excuse to eat all the pickles, you're going to be sick. Similarly, money also, we do require some. It's okay, we need some entertainment sometimes, but that's not the main thing. The main thing is my spiritual growth. I spend more time and more energy doing my spiritual work. Such a person is called the Karma Yogi. Therefore, Krishna, Karma Palam means material benefits of action. Karma Palam, material benefits. Artha Karma, maybe name or fame. So my actions may be done for the sake of power and money, name, fame, prosperity, higher salaries. I'm not going to condemn any people doing that, but that's not my purpose. Why? Because I'm a more mature human being. I discovered things which are much more valuable. And why these things are much, I mean, why spiritual growth is much more valuable than material gains? Why? Can you answer me, please? I'm tired today.
For me, it's peace.
Any benefit gained from material gains is very temporary and actually just creates more and more vasanas and leads to suffering finally.
Yes, good. Thank you. So you understood it's much more valuable to be a Karma Yogi. Why? Because you develop a mind which is samatvam, it's equanimity, it's balanced, it's peaceful. So we need to remember that the mind we have is only one, is our primary instrument by which we experience in the world. We experience our body, mind, and the world. So we can try to control the experience we have in the world, okay? Trying to gain circumstances and results which are favorable to my likes. But we know that that is not really much under our control, and we're going to just go through ups and downs, pleasures and pains, and so on. Having understood that, I'm being much more smart. I understand it's much more valuable. I take care of my instrument of knowledge/experience, because if I have much of an instrument of knowledge/experience, I will enjoy any result, any parapada as prasad. It's common sense, common logic. I have a certain instrument. These instruments are going to make me an enjoyer or a sufferer. So I can try to be an enjoyer, controlling the field of object, trying to attract only objects of desires which are favorable to my likes. But understanding the impossibilities of such a task, I just say, no, leave it alone. I'm going to develop a mind which is immune to pleasures and pains. Much smarter, yeah? Much smarter. So I'm a mature human being. I'm more concerned about Dharma and Moksha. So, what do I sacrifice for the sake of getting them? if the sacrifice is my spiritual life itself, it's not worth it. I vote for spiritual growth. I don't want to sacrifice. So we know this concept. You know, there are some proverbs in that direction. We live a life running to gain material benefits that can give me peace of mind, security, and so on. And in the process, I just destroy my mind. And in the end, I have all kinds of material benefits, but my mind is kaput. And no material benefit is going to fix my kaput mind in the end. So what kind of action the Karma Yoga takes? The ones prescribed by the scriptures, especially meant for inner growth. Scriptures do prescribe two kinds of activities. One is purely activity for the sake of sensory enjoyment. So we like to eat a good meal, to drink a good juice, fresh juice, without alcohol, preferably, as good Karma Yogi. All those things are okay. After karma, pradhana activities dominate, focus on artha karma. And the scriptures do talk about activities which will primarily contribute to your inner growth. And those karmas we saw in the third chapter. I do not want to get into those details. So we have to remember those kinds of actions. Okay? So what kind of action is that? It's not egoic, self-centered action for the sake of my benefit, but it's an action that takes into account the benefit of others around me and in the overall Dharma field. And it's an action that observes Dharma, meaning to say never breaks or violates Dharma. Because I could say, no, I want the benefit of everybody around me, therefore I'm going to violate Dharma. No, you have to conform your desire for the benefits of the people around you without breaking Dharma as well. And you need to do actions that are not hooked, dependable on the results of actions. It should not be binding to the results without expectations in regards to results, because you take the results as an opportunity to learn something. So those general is actions. So Karma Yoga is the one that looks for the benefit, the beneficiaries of many. So the Rajasic person is the person who does many actions for one's own benefit and the benefit of family members sometimes. And the Rajasic person a lot of the time plays by the rules and does not violate Dharma. But the person under the spell of excess of Tamoguna still have desires, but does not have the ability, the talents, and the expertise to play by the rules, and they cheat and they break the rules of the Dharma. And those are the worst kind of action possible of those tamasic people, which we find all over the world in our governments, corrupt politicians that want so much what they want to the extent of betraying people and nations. So we want to be a Karma Yogi. Such welfare, selfless, beautiful activities are prescribed by which I also benefit, the society benefits. They are not destructive actions, they do not violate Dharma, and they are not conditioning my sense of happiness, because my happiness derives from the sense of having done the Dharmic just thing to be done, which benefits most. So a Dharmic sattvic action is prescribed in the Karma Yoga section of the Gita, which is also often described as a selfless action. They are great for the spiritual inner growth. And the Karma Yoga does those actions. Even when I do not get material benefit, I know I'm getting the higher benefit, which is the material spiritual growth. And here he's quoting a person can desire whether I will get Bharata, Ratina, Padma, Shri, and Padma Bhushan. Material benefits we can see, even that he does not see, he does purely for the sake of inner growth, which is invisible. Material benefits complete and visible, whereas spiritual benefit is subtle and invisible, and that's why we always sacrifice these karmas. You probably remember the saying that in the material world, every action will produce good results and bad results, but in the visible spiritual work, right, action, yeah, presented from with this spirit slash understanding of the Karma Yogi will always be successful. Otherwise, the actions, if we are mostly focused on the material results, every action is going to have two possible results. Some of them is success and some of them are failure. And Karma Yogi, no action is wasted, and we remember that because from the external aspect, we can say, "Oh, that was terrible. You lost $100,000. You failed with that small business that you began." But then the person will say, "But never mind. I was doing that as an excuse to be a good Karma Yogi. I need to do something. I mean, we need to do things to be a Karma Yogi. If we don't do things, we cannot be a Karma Yogi." No, I was doing that, and I lost all that money because I want to test my smartphone, and I want to make an experiment. I'm going to get all these invisible, subtle, spiritual result, success, spiritual success, more samatva, more spiritual inner growth, and I'm gonna lose $100,000 to see if I'm grown up enough to take that with equanimity, with no attachment. Concrete and visible results, but the spiritual benefit is invisible and subtle. Nobody will see it, and sometimes we don't even see it because it's so subtle that we don't know how much we are growing. Isn't it, Lynn?
I'm thinking of my family members who say I'm going to hell because I don't, the blood of Christ or something, and they think I'm going to hell. And I kept thinking, very subtle, must be very subtle.
Oh God, yeah. Saja Vandanan already dropped in the first day. Okay, let's move on here. What is the benefit of the family of Lee? I'm going to ask you. Keep doing this Vedanta class. So, have you not yet graduated? Are you not tired? So, you studied so many years for so many years. What is the benefit? I don't see any benefit. Understand? And then Lee say, well, I mean, the benefit is very, very subtle and indivisible. Okay. And you may not have a subtle, sensible mind to understand how peaceful and balanced I am nowadays. And then the family of Lin will say, oh, but you could be using this time to make some extra money to add up, to implement your pension and this and that. So you need to get some tangible benefit. If it's invisible, it's as good as no benefit. The benefit is very subtle, but it's guaranteed. That's the point. And you and only you can see it for yourself. If you have gone through the assimilation of this Mitya knowledge or Shwara knowledge. And Krishna goes to the extreme extent to say that Karma Yoga is the real sannyasi. Sannyasi is not just as good as the sannyasi. He is not as good as a sannyasi or a monk. He's the best possible renunciate, even though he has not renounced the family, the work, the children, the family. He can be considered a very high sannyasi. Why he can be considered a sannyasi? This is a bit confused, this passage, because he had renounced something very big that many sannyasis leaving the ashram did not. Okay? Although the sannyasis leaving the ashram, they don't have many actions to turn them into Karma Yogis, But they were unprepared to renounce the sense of worship, renounce the sense that I am a sannyasi, someone who walked away from society and so on, the vanity and the sense of worship, the sense of I, the sannyasi. And that's why we just say something here interesting. He says like, this is good, let me read it word by word. Therefore, only there is any anxiety, but what will come maximum failure in life? What will come maximum is failure. And for a Karma Yoga, failure does not exist. There is no question of failure because whether you succeed or fail, yeah, worldly, tangibly, in whatsoever you're doing, there are two goals there. One is to accomplish what I'm doing on the altar level, yeah, tangible level, and the other is my inner growth, which is my main goal. Yeah? The inner growth is guaranteed. Why? Because I did present my actions without much expectation and with a certain spirit of reverence and gratitude and offer taking whatsoever comes as prasad. In fact, in failure, inner growth is more, he said here. When you failure, there is more potential for inner growth. That's why in the second chapter, Krishna said for Karma Yoga, there is never failure because he is growing inwardly, which is the main goal, whatever be the external outcome of action, and therefore there is no anxiety. He will say, whatever is going to come to me, I will accept it as prasada, accept it as what? As Ishvara prasada, God will, which Krishna said in the second chapter. Comfort and discomfort, success and failure, gain, loss, each experience is a lesson, life is a lesson, is a field for learning, and therefore he, she is a good sannyasi, although a grihastha. He or she is the best possible meditator. But the interesting aspect here is when he says that when we fail in our worldly pursuits, there is more growth. What is it? In fact, in failure, inner growth is more. He did not elaborate, but somehow success can more easily deceive the doer, than failure. Failure somehow helps us to redirect our life, especially when we experience so much failure, especially after we have imagined that we had figured out how to be successful in this world. It happened to me when I went from Italy to Brazil with you. When I went from Italy to Washington State, I was under the delusion that I knew how to be successful. Yeah? And I said, let's go there. Anyhow, I'll go to the United States, I'm going to make money there as well. And I lost nearly everything. And then now one has to, learn some lessons. And a lot of the time we learn from suffering more than from enjoying things, A Karma Yogi can be termed a meditator, although he, she is not a meditator in the literal sense. But why the Karma Yogi can be termed a meditator? Because without sitting to meditate, to produce a peaceful mind, an equanimous mind, a balanced mind, it's interacting with a certain knowledge and attitude that is producing the same end result, which is a peaceful mind, a balanced mind, samatva. He does not need to sit in a particular place because everywhere, anything he's doing for that same goal, samatva, peace of mind. He does not need to open or close their eyes. Still, a Karma Yogi is as good as a meditator. Why? The reason Shankaracharya and other commentators about Sampradaya write, after all, meditation is what? Mind dwelling upon one field is meditation. Mind dwelling on an object of meditation, on a particular field, is meditation. Karma Yogi is a meditator because he is not agitated about his past, his present, his future. He is focused on his actions with a certain attitude. That focus is so much there that gives them the status of Karma Upasana Yogi. He is not agitated about past and future. His mind is fully focused, doing one thing at a time, as an offer and receiving the results moment to moment with gratitude as prasada. So the result, the end result is the same, is a meditative, peaceful, properly resolved mind by being a Karma Yogi. I always had this, once I got in contact with Vedanta, I started praising and valuing Karma Yoga. It was new to me, And then as I understood it better and better, I started valuing it much more than Upasana. Because the mind is going to be resolved, purified, refined in a very natural way by understanding and being a Karma Yogi. The mind is going to develop even one-pointedness because the object of natural upasana is what? Is my actions being offered to Ishvara. So this is huge. If you keep that vision, it's one-pointedness because you begin seeing everything as Ishvara and I'm offering something back to Ishvara. So I kind of started looking down to this business of Upasana, but then I could understand better by following the teachings of Swami Paramarthananda, chapter 6, with my Brazilian group. A fully focused mind is a mind in meditation. The mind is not wavering, jumping, going now concerns. I mean, the successful Karma Yogi has settled the mind because he has no concern and anticipation and preoccupation and anxiety about what's coming next. It's understood. It's understood already, that whatever comes as an opportunity for me to learn something. And I have the strength derived by this solid and clear relationship with my creator that is always providing me with I need the best, even if it's very painful. The mind is really resolved as a good Karma Yoga. The mind is focused, seeing Ishvara in everything. Therefore, Karma Yoga is the yogi practicing with open eyes and through all interactions with the field of action, transacting the world with open eyes, converting those interactions into an incredible sadhana, normally described as Karma Yoga, but here being present as Upasana as well. He's meditating because he's keeping the mind in the Lord. Everything is the Lord, and I'm giving something back to the Lord. Everything, every action, whatever action is an offering to the Lord. In this third chapter, we have seen he's thinking of the Lord. I mean, he did not present the English translation here. Strange. He's thinking of the Lord. You see the English translation somewhere, no? Huh? So the Karma Yoga is thinking of the Lord because every action is offered to the Lord. Therefore, Lord is the focus. What is my object of meditation? The Lord. Focus the mind is there. Focusing of the mind is present. Then what it is, it's nothing but an open eye meditation, more open eye upasana. Therefore, Krishna Guru says that the Karma Yogi is a great yogi. Does Karma Yogi renunciate? He's a meditator in the real sense of the term. Not only that, Krishna goes one step further and says that suppose there is a sannyasi who has renounced everything, no wife, no children, no bank balance, nothing. He has put one oak robe also, and he has come out of society and house, and he's sitting in meditation somewhere, and he thinks of how many disciples I will get in the future, you know. And he's in the new business, the spiritual business of becoming a guru. Does any disciple come? When will I start my own ashram? Am I going to be very famous or what? When am I going to be invited for a trip in the USA as a guru? No, Swami present those things because he sees it all around the ashram there, you know, the struggle to try to become a guru, you know, to be famous like Swami Dayananda, you know. Why Swami Dayananda became so famous, and I was there with Dayananda, and Shimaya never put me on the pedestal wherefore Dayananda got all the credit and became famous, and I'm nobody. I'm as good as Dayananda, you know. Many people have got those attitudes, those poor, mundane ideas, living in an ashram and using an oak rope and so on. These are external sannyasis, but a true sannyasi is the internal sannyas, and the renunciation of the sense of doership as the ego begins with renouncing the expectation in regards to results of my actions which were dedicated to the Lord. I cannot renounce my ego without having renounced expectation in regards to the results of my action. First things first, you understand? Therefore, Krishna says, external sannyasing is called niragini, agni, rituals, those things. Ashrama sannyasing, here Krishna says niragini as an ashrama sannyasi is something. There are some other technical words and phrases and sentences that go in respect to different aspects of the sannyas life within the context of the Vedic culture, okay, which we are not very familiar with. So therefore, it's not really much help to us. So if he is going to think of all other things as a sannyasi action, it makes no sense. On the other hand, the Karma Yoga is a grihasta, always. Karma Yoga is a householder, and she is a sannyas living and interact in the world because his mind is focused. Imagine a person who sits in a place with proper posture and he looks really cool, professional meditator, keeping the body straight and keeping the eyes closed, proper robes, proper color, mala, beautiful mala, a few people sitting around so that they can get the vibes from the famous meditator. And then he started rolling some mantra. The fingers are properly crossed, the legs and the fingers, all those things, huh? But his mind is not focused. these are not real meditators. These external aspects of a meditator says nothing about the mind of the actor pretending to be a meditator. He sits quietly, and he even managed to suppress Rajoguna moving one's body. Some meditators, they are so good that they don't even allow the body to move, but the mind only Ishvara knows. So therefore, Krishna silently sitting person is not a true meditator, but a householder who is active in life, seeing everything as an opportunity to serve the Lord. He is a true meditator. He is a true Karma Yogi with focus. That's very beautiful. So now we should be feel very happy now. Our self-esteem should be up there now. Thanks God, I am a Grihastha Sannyas. I am a Grihastha Karma Yogi. No, I'm the greatest. Verse 2, O Arjuna, that which is called renunciation is that Karma Yoga alone. Understand that, for nobody becomes a Karma Yogi, who is without renounce fantasies, mental fantasies, fancies. These fancies here refer to only mental or any kind of pose and so on. What do you think?
I think fancies is referring to his wants and his desires.
Yeah. So he's about saying the same thing. In the previous verse, Krishna had mentioned that Karma Yoga is the real sannyasi, not the old-road person. In this verse, Krishna justifies that statement. He asked the question, what is renunciation, O Arjuna? The real renunciation, Krishna wants to say that external renunciation can never be considered real renunciation because self-knowledge is not connected with the external body, but self-knowledge is connected with the mind and the intellect. By making a few external change, I will not necessarily impact my mind, because my mind may continue to be doing the same yakatya. What is the use of this external show? That's why you find that so many people are sannyasis, but they do not find any benefit at all in being a sannyasi. There's some little gossip here that Swami Paramarthananda shares with us about life in an ashram. The struggle for power within some ashrams. By making a few external changes, the mind was not transformed. There is no use. You find many people living in ashrams having gained no benefit from that lifestyle. Equal number of worries, but the problems remain. The same kind of headaches. In fact, they begin to regret taking sannyasa. And the tragedy is that sannyasa is one-way traffic. Once you become a sannyasi, in India, at least, you can never go back to society. You have to give away all your possessions, all your belongings, all your assets, enter the ashram, and then even if you would have a chance to go back, you go back to have nothing, no family, nobody relating you. You are not a taxpayer anymore. The taxpayer number is destroyed. You are not a living entity, an official entity. Therefore, Krishna says that the main sannyasa required is sannyasa of the concerns of the mind with respect to the future, sannyasa of those things which disturb the mind. And one of the main things is disturb of the mind is what's going to be of my future days. How am I going to be doing in the future? Am I going to be safe, secure? Are things going to be all right? Nobody knows. The only difference is that a true meditator and a true yoni, has no concern about the future. This is a fact. What will happen to me tomorrow? This is one of the major concerns. What am I going to do? What will my wife, if I get married? And then he started talking about family, Indian family. I heard that there was a guy there. He was a very old associate of James of Ramji, and he was living in India for decades. And the last big 3 week seminar that Ramji did in Tiruvannamalai, that guy was helping with preparing the space. He was a friend, and he had some skills on how to make events and decorate it nicely. And Jamie was hoping that he would finally understand the value of Vedanta. And Jamie was keeping him close, hoping that the guy was going to get something. Sundari was just around the corner laughing and saying, oh, how deluded Ramji. This guy did not get over 10 years. Why he's going to get now? And she was right, because the guy, was inside. He was laughing at all of us, doing all this intellectual gymnastics. But that guy, I kept contact with him, even though he told me a few things about his total disinterest in regards to Vedanta philosophy. But I used to talk a little bit with him, and he was having problem with staying in India. And I say, why don't you marry an Indian woman? And he told me, are you crazy, man? When you marry an Indian woman here, you are not marrying the woman, you are marrying the entire family. And the family is huge. Everybody is going to control you, not only your wife, but everybody is going to try to control you. You're going to become a prisoner of that family. And here he's saying that, I said, okay, so I'm going to marry, oh my God, but there's no way I can know the entire family. I know that's going to be difficult because everybody is going to try to control me. So how is going to be the future of this marriage? Worries in the mind of the samsari who did not become a Karma Yogi. He says something here. Whether we'll get about therefore Krishna says the sannyasi cannot get self-knowledge if he is worried about the future. A grihastha also cannot get self-knowledge if the grihastha is worried about the future. So who is going to get self-knowledge? Karma Yogi, because he prepared the mind, developing mental strength and balance to receive all results as prasadam. Therefore, he's no longer worried about the future. So this Karma Yogi, he's create the base on which he's going to get self-knowledge for sure. He's never worried about the future. He's not worried about the results because she trusts the Lord. Okay, we passed the time. When we talk about Karma Yoga, it's so beautiful. That's easy to go over 1 hour. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. Okay, we'll meet again next Friday.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Arlindo.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Lynn. Meet soon again.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye now.